Listen closely, because the moment you finish this story, you will never look at a 1970 D mint mark Abraham Lincoln 1 cent the same way again. There are coins that whisper, and there are coins that roar across time like thunder. This is the latter, because hidden inside this small copper artifact, struck more than half a century ago in the heart of the Denver Mint, is a mystery that has seduced seasoned collectors, inspired treasure hunters, and sparked whispers of a specimen so rare, so impossibly perfect, it could be worth millions of dollars if the right variation surfaced in the wild. And the most unsettling part, that extraordinary discovery, if it exists, might still be quietly sitting inside someone's forgotten coffee can, tucked in a banker's box in the basement, or lost beneath the velvet lining of an old coin folder. One heartbeat away from being found. But why this coin? What makes the 1970 D Abraham Lincoln 1 cent so intoxicatingly mysterious? Let's open the door. Imagine holding it in your hand. It's light, smaller than a thumbnail, warm, almost familiar, and yet this coin carries the weight of a nation in transition. 1970, the year the ground shook culturally, politically, emotionally. The United States was stepping into a new decade with uncertainty in its chest. Collectors often forget that coins do not simply record dates, they record the heartbeat of the era that produced them. Now picture the Denver Mint that year. Copper blank blankets tumbling like embers and roaring heated drums. Industrial presses hammering relentlessly. Each strike embedding the quiet stoicism of Abraham Lincoln on one side, and the monumental dignity of the Lincoln Memorial on the other. But within this storm of production lay imperfection, human oversight, mechanical nuance, a subtle shift here, a microscopic misalignment there. And every collector knows imperfections sometimes become miracles. The 1970 D is known primarily as a high mintage coin. That's the camouflage, the deception, the reason so many collectors underestimate it. But beneath the ocean of ordinary examples hides the possibility of extraordinary errors, misstrikes, doubled elements, off-center anomalies, and blanket irregularities that can transform an ordinary piece into an object of immense desirability. And here's where the story takes a sharp turn. The Lincoln Memorial reverse of 1970, carefully crafted, has proven over decades to be a playground for subtle and dramatic minting variations. The tiniest doubling, an unexpected die anomaly, a shifted mint mark. Any single one can elevate this coin from pocket change to legendary status. Because when rarity intersects with history, value follows like a shadow dot. But consider the design more intimately. Look at Lincoln's profile, the deep-set eye, the sharp jawline, the determined brow. Look at the delicate serif lettering of liberty and the date 1970. Now draw your eyes to the D mint mark, small, almost shy in its placement. In a perfect specimen, every edge is crisp, every contour is sharp. No weakness, no softness, no clash. But the Denver Mint of 1970 did not always produce perfection. And collectors quietly talk about a whisper in the dark numismatic world, a hypothetical die pairing, or striking anomaly so significant, so visually dramatic, that if discovered, it could shift the financial gravity of the entire 1 cent series. A coin that would be worth millions of dollars in the right market, to the right bidder, under the right spotlight. Is it out there? No one can say. But every great treasure in history began with a rumor, and that rumor fuels the collector's imagination. Picture this. A man in Colorado sorts through a jar his grandfather left him. He almost throws the entire batch into a coin counting machine, until one coin glints strangely at an angle. He pauses, looks closer. The date seems different. The mint mark seems displaced. Could it be a known error, or something no one has ever seen? This moment, this pause, is what keeps the collector community alive. It's the electric tingle of possibility. Because the 1970 D. Abraham Lincoln 1 cent sits at the intersection of immense population and immense potential. Millions were produced, but how many were struck during a mechanical hiccup? How many endured with perfectly preserved surfaces? How many remain in untouched rolls, locked away for decades? How many miracles remain hidden? Now imagine tracing its journey, a newly minted 1 cent sliding down a steel chute, clinking against its brothers, falling into a large bin, shipped from Denver to banks across the Midwest, passed hand to hand in grocery stores, gas stations, hardware shops. Most spent their lives unnoticed, but a rare few escaped the wear of circulation. A rare few were collected the moment they were born. A rare few might contain the anomalies advanced collectors dream about. These are the survivors that transform into legend. Think about the psychology of collecting. A mature collector doesn't chase hype, they chase legacy. They chase meaning. They chase the feeling of being connected to a moment in American history that cannot be recreated. And with the 1970 D1 cent, that connection feels tangible. Copper carries warmth. Copper carries memory. Copper carries secrets. And this coin, with its portrait of Lincoln, America's symbol of endurance and unity, arrives at the dawn of a decade defined by upheaval. The symbolism becomes almost poetic. But beyond the narrative, the real power of this coin lies in its unpredictability. The 1970 D has documented errors, yes, but it also has the possibility of undiscovered ones. Tiny mysteries that may sit unseen until a sharp-eyed collector with a loupe and a lifetime of experience spots something others missed for generations. That's the intoxicating thrill. The idea that at any moment, a collector, maybe even the listener, could be the one who uncovers the next great anomaly, who becomes part of numismatic lore, who holds a coin so rare, so extraordinary, it becomes the centerpiece of a world-class collection. Imagine the prestige, imagine the story, imagine the value, yes, potentially worth millions of dollars if the right extraordinary variation comes to light. Now look again at the reverse. The Lincoln Memorial stands quietly, yet majestically, engraved with disciplined precision. Each column an emblem of stability, each line a tribute to American ideals. But coins age, dies age, machines tremble, and the smallest disturbance during striking can create doubling along the memorial, distortions in the steps, or eccentric spacing in the lettering. These changes, while accidental, are the fingerprints of history. Collectors don't just hunt for rarity, they hunt for authenticity. They hunt for accidents with consequences. There's also the unspoken truth. Early 1970s Denver Mint production was fast, intense, and massive. Quality control had limits, and so the 1970 D1 cent stands as a playground for those who appreciate nuance, precision, and anomaly. It is the perfect storm of high minted scarcity, common, yet maybe hiding the uncommon. Every roll you open has the potential to shift your legacy. But let's pull back the curtain even further. Just imagine the psychological thrill of showing another collector your own extraordinary variation, watching their eyebrows rise, hearing that soft intake of breath, that low whistle. In that moment, the coin isn't just metal. It's a passport into a higher tier of collecting, a symbol of mastery, a piece that anchors conversations, commands attention, and elevates your status in the collector world. Now here comes a question that lingers, a whisper you won't be able to shake loose. If an ultra-rare 1970 D variation truly exists, and history suggests it may, who will discover it? Will it be someone with decades of experience? Or someone who simply listened to a story, opened an old box, and saw something no one else noticed? Because the truth is, America is still filled with forgotten containers of old coins, still filled with children of veterans, grandparents, and quiet accumulators who saved copper coins in jars without knowing their hidden potential. Every collector knows that the best treasures often come from the most ordinary places. A basement, a glove compartment, a dusty drawer, a single overlooked coin that breaks the pattern. So look at the 1970 D. Abraham Lincoln 1 cent with new eyes, with respect, with curiosity, because somewhere out there, maybe in your own collection, maybe in your own home, there could be a specimen so extraordinary, so visually astonishing, that it will rewrite what we thought we knew about this Denver Mint issue. And if that coin emerges, it will not just be valuable, it will be mythic. Let this coin remind you why you began collecting. Not for the metal, not for the price, but for the stories hidden inside every strike. For the chase, for the discovery, for the possibility that something miraculous can come from something small, humble, and overlooked by millions. Now the question lingers, and it refuses to leave your side. What if the rarest 1970 D ever struck is still out there, waiting patiently for the one collector daring enough to look twice? And what if that collector is you?
The year is 1982. A moment in time where America stood at the crossroads of tradition and transformation. Amid the everyday clamor of a nation, a small, unassuming object emerged, an Abraham Lincoln 1 cent from the Denver Mint. At first glance, it might seem ordinary, almost invisible in your hand. Yet, for those who know where to look, this coin holds secrets capable of altering fortunes, captivating imaginations, and whispering the untold stories of history. Hold it carefully, let your eyes trace the contours. Lincoln's profile, etched with serene dignity, gazes out as he has for over a century, yet this cent carries a whisper of rarity that few even realize. On the reverse, the humble wheat stalks, symbols of American resilience and industriousness, frame the coin's story. But it's the year, 1982, that makes this coin extraordinary. That year marked a profound shift. The composition of the 1 cent changed, and with it, the delicate line between the common and the legendary. Imagine the Denver Mint, bustling with presses, smoke, and steam, churning out coins day after day. Among millions, a small subset emerged from that year with a subtle distinction. The 1982 D Mint mark Abraham Lincoln 1 cent exists in two forms, copper and zinc. Most collectors overlook this, but the difference is monumental. To hold one of the rare copper examples in your palm is to feel the heartbeat of history, a pulse that has survived decades in circulation, tucked away in drawers, jars, and hidden pockets, waiting for the discerning eye. But the story grows more fascinating. What if I told you that some of these coins exhibit tiny, almost imperceptible anomalies? Minute doubling on the mint mark, faint die cracks near Lincoln's shoulder, variations so subtle that they can transform a common cent into a coin worth millions of dollars. These are not just objects of metal, they are portals into a vanished era, reminders that even the most ordinary items can conceal extraordinary potential. Consider the psychology of the collector. This coin appeals not merely because it is rare, but because it represents mastery over obscurity. In a world saturated with mass production, to recognize and own a 1982 D Mint mark Abraham Lincoln 1 cent in copper form is to claim a small victory against the tide of anonymity. Each coin carries a silent prestige, a whisper of triumph that no one else can replicate. The thrill comes not just from possession, but from understanding the story that others miss. Let's pause for a moment. Imagine holding this coin under a soft, focused light. The sheen of copper catches your eye, the patina, a warm, reddish glow, seems almost alive. You turn it slowly, inspecting every ridge of Lincoln's jaw, every tiny indentation, feeling the subtle vibrations of history beneath your fingertips. Now consider this, among the millions struck at Denver in 1982, only a fraction exist in pristine, untouched condition. Only a fraction remain undiscovered. The next great discovery could be waiting in your own home, hiding in a drawer or an old coin album, history casts a long shadow over this coin. 1982 was a year of subtle transitions: Reagan's America, the rise of modern finance, the shifting metals of industry. The mint itself was at a crossroads, experimenting with cost-saving measures that would inadvertently create anomalies that decades later would become treasures. The copper-zinc composition change was more than a metallurgical decision, it was a turning point, a pivot between eras, and the 1982 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln 1 cent captures that pivot perfectly. Holding it is like holding the hinge of history itself. Now, let's explore the rarity in detail. The copper strikes of the Denver Mint that year were not destroyed, not lost, they simply became less common, quietly slipping through the hands of everyday Americans. A coin like this is not just a collectible, it is a survivor, an artifact that defies probability. Its scarcity is subtle, almost conspiratorial, yet unmistakable to the trained eye. Every scratch tells a story, every toning pattern whispers the journey of decades spent in pockets, purses, and cash registers. Collectors know that true value is not always obvious. It hides in anomalies, in the slight misalignment of a die, in the unusual luster that only certain conditions can preserve, in the crisp strike that survived countless exchanges. The 1982 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln 1 cent has these secrets in abundance. Each specimen carries a signature, a fingerprint of the Denver Mint Press, a trace of human hands and industrial might intertwined. For those who can see it, the potential is breathtaking, the allure intoxicating, and there's more, a twist that elevates desire. Some coins from 1982 display a mysterious shift in metal density, creating a subtle sound when tapped, a resonance that collectors call the singing cent. It's a detail easy to dismiss, yet it separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. Imagine the anticipation of discovering one of these, a coin that sings softly beneath your touch, a coin that embodies both history and fortune. Let's shift perspective for a moment. Imagine the coin not as currency, but as a beacon of legacy. Owning a 1982 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln 1 cent in copper is an assertion that you understand the depth beneath the surface, that you value patience, knowledge, and discernment. This coin represents more than metal, it represents insight. It offers a bridge between the world you live in and the generations that came before, a tangible connection to the life and ideals of Abraham Lincoln himself, to the resilience of the nation he symbolizes, yet even within this prestige lies tension. These coins are slipping from public awareness even now. Forgotten albums, misplaced collections, and unchecked drawers may hold the next great discovery. Can you imagine uncovering a specimen untouched for decades, then realizing its true significance? That singular moment of revelation, one heartbeat, one glance, can transform a simple coin into a legendary treasure worth millions of dollars. The allure of the 1982 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln 1 cent extends beyond its metal. It's a study in contrasts, ordinary yet extraordinary, common yet rare, a coin you can touch yet one that defies full comprehension. Every collector who has ever held one knows the thrill, the quiet rush of discovery, the knowledge that you are part of a story far larger than yourself. And consider this final twist: not all coins of this type are equal. Within the Denver Mint's output, subtle anomalies exist, struck on slightly rotated dies, displaying die cracks in unusual places, or bearing the faintest doubling of letters. These variations transform a coin from a mere collector item into a piece of legend. The next specimen you find might not just be rare, it might redefine the known universe of 1982 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln 1 cent coins. So, when you think of this coin, don't think of it as a single object. Think of it as a key. A key to history, to legacy, to prestige, and yes, to wealth beyond imagination. It calls to those with the vision to see beyond the ordinary, to the patience to hunt, to the courage to claim what others overlook. Each copper strike is a whisper, each anomaly a secret message, urging you to reach further, search deeper, and hold closer, and as you set it down, imagine one final secret, somewhere in the vast sea of 1982 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln 1 cents, an untouched specimen waits. Perhaps it is in an old coin album, tucked in a velvet-lined drawer, quietly aging, unaware of the millions it might be worth. Will it be you who discovers it? Will it be your hand that unlocks its secret, your eyes that recognize its subtle glory? History, fortune, prestige, they all converge in this tiny coin. The 1982 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln 1 cent is not just money, it is a story, a mystery, and a promise. And for those who can see it, understand it, and hold it, it is an invitation to claim a piece of history few will ever touch. But the truth, the ultimate secret, lies not in what has been found, but in what has yet to be discovered. Philadelphia Mint coins from this era were produced in staggering numbers. Millions were struck, destined for change trays and cash registers across the nation. Yet, only a handful slipped through the cracks without the official mint mark. And here lies the tension every collector dreams of, a coin indistinguishable from billions, yet secretly singular. Holding it, you sense the echo of history, the precise moment when an artisan's hand, or perhaps a fleeting error in the press, created something utterly unique. Consider the era. 1998 was a year of transition, America poised on the edge of the digital revolution, the first whispers of the new millennium stirring excitement and anxiety alike. In the midst of this, the Philadelphia Mint quietly pressed millions of Abraham Lincoln 1 cents, each copper disc circulating like ordinary life itself. Yet, somewhere in the shuffle, the universe conspired to produce a coin that defied the ordinary, a coin that today commands attention not merely for its scarcity, but for its story. Imagine the thrill of discovery. You're sifting through a stack of change, a routine task performed thousands of times. One coin catches your eye, not because it shouts, not because it gleams with polish, but because it seems different. No mint mark. A detail so slight, it could be dismissed by the untrained eye. But you, the collector, the seeker of legends, sense the pulse of rarity. This coin is a whisper of the past, a tangible fragment of the human error and craftsmanship that created it. And in the world of numismatics, rarity is currency of a far higher order. What makes this coin extraordinary is more than its missing mint mark. It is the way it connects you to decades of American history. The Lincoln cent has been a silent witness to wars, elections, and personal milestones. Every Abraham Lincoln 1 cent carries the weight of memory. The year 1998 alone saw moments of triumph and loss that shaped the lives of millions. In your hand, this coin becomes a conduit to that past, a tangible reminder that even the smallest objects can bear immense significance. Collectors understand that the true value of a coin is rarely printed in ink. It lies in the thrill of possession, in the knowledge that fewer people in the world hold this coin than those who can claim to own a private island. The 1998 NO Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln 1 cent is not just rare, it is a siren call to ambition and discernment. It is worth millions of dollars not merely because of metal, but because of what it represents: mastery, luck, patience, and the unspoken understanding that history is collectible. Now, consider the anomalies. Some surviving examples exhibit faint doubling along the date or subtle variations in the relief that reveal the hand of the press at a moment of imperfection. These anomalies, nearly invisible to casual inspection, become treasures under magnification. Each imperfection elevates the coin from rarity to legend, creating a hierarchy of desirability where even seasoned collectors feel the electric pulse of competition. Who will uncover it? Who will recognize its significance before the moment passes? And here is where psychology enters the game. Owning this coin is more than a transaction, it is an affirmation. It is proof that you are part of a select few capable of discerning value others overlook. Every glance at its copper surface ignites nostalgia for a time when coins were more than metal, they were stories, contracts with history, silent witnesses to the unfolding of our national narrative. It evokes curiosity, awe, and a fear of missing out so potent it can drive collectors across the country in search of a single, elusive mint. Markless scent pattern interrupts of discovery are everywhere with this coin. One moment it is merely a familiar Abraham Lincoln, the next, under the right light, it gleams with the promise of untold worth. A casual observer would see nothing extraordinary. But you, trained to see what others cannot, recognize the pulse of rarity. Every curve of Lincoln's face, every edge of the coin, is a microcosm of opportunity. It is as though time itself has bent to preserve this secret for the discerning few. Market dynamics amplify the drama. Coins like this do not linger long in private collections, they move fast, quietly, often unseen by public eyes. To own one is to command not just a piece of history, but a stake in a rarefied world where scarcity and story intersect. The potential is not incremental, it is exponential. One coin, innocuous to the untrained eye, becomes a crown jewel of any collection, instantly transforming perception and prestige. And in a market hungry for rarity, there is no such thing as overstatement. The 1998 NO Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln 1 cent is worth millions of dollars to the right collector, a reality as thrilling as it is humbling. Imagine placing it under the light. The copper gleams with warmth. You turn it, feel the ridges, note the absence of a mint mark. And then comes the realization, this is no ordinary object. It is a conversation starter, a benchmark of excellence, a talisman of historical significance. Every collector dreams of moments like this, a brush with perfection, an encounter with rarity that feels almost mythical, and yet, the story does not end here. Because in the world of rare coins, nothing is ever truly finite. Each 1998 NO Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln 1 cent carries its own tale, its own quirks, and its own potential to redefine what collectors consider valuable. Some show faint die cracks, others bear the patina of age that only enhances their allure. Each coin is a microcosm of history, chance, and artistry, a tiny disc capable of commanding admiration, envy, and respect simultaneously. The thrill lies not just in possession, but in pursuit. Many collectors spend years chasing these mint-markless mysteries, visiting flea markets, scrutinizing change, negotiating with dealers, all in search of that one coin that transcends ordinary value. It is an exercise in patience, intuition, and vision. And when you finally hold it, the feeling is electric, a quiet, unspoken confirmation that you have glimpsed something extraordinary, a secret that few ever see and fewer still can claim. But there is a final twist. Even after centuries of collecting, experts still debate the exact number of surviving specimens. Some argue that a handful remain in private hands, hidden in drawers, forgotten rolls, or behind glass in unsuspecting collections. And here lies the tension, the pulse that drives obsession. The possibility exists that the very coin you seek may already be under someone else's careful watch, its story paused, waiting for rediscovery. Will you find it before it vanishes into legend once more? The 1998 NO Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln 1 cent is not just a coin. It is a portal. A testament to craftsmanship, a relic of human error elevated into perfection, a whisper from history daring you to listen. In the right hands, it is more than copper, it is influence, prestige, and power. A single glance reveals not just a date, but a legacy. A missing mint mark becomes a bridge to opportunity, a secret that only the observant, the patient, and the passionate can unlock. And as you set it back in your collection, or perhaps prepare to secure it for the world to see, remember this: the story of this coin is not over. Each time it changes hands, each moment it is examined, the legend grows. The 1998 NO Mint mark Abraham Lincoln 1 cent waits silently, a sleeping giant in the numismatic universe, ready to awaken for the one who recognizes its full potential. Will that be you? Or will you watch from the sidelines as another collector claims a treasure that could have been yours? History has a way of favoring the prepared. And in this quiet, unassuming coin lies a truth few ever glimpse. Sometimes, the most extraordinary treasures come in the smallest, most overlooked forms, waiting for someone bold enough to see them. Someone like you. Imagine holding a piece of history in your hand, so small, yet capable of stirring a fortune beyond imagination. A coin that whispers secrets of a nation's past, of craftsmanship nearly lost to time, of errors so rare that only the sharpest eyes will ever notice. This is no ordinary Abraham Lincoln 1 cent. This is the 2004 No Mint mark Abraham Lincoln 1 cent from the Philadelphia Mint, a coin so elusive, so extraordinary, that it can command attention in any collection, and potentially, worth millions of dollars. At first glance, it appears familiar. The proud visage of Abraham Lincoln, engraved with meticulous care, greets you from the obverse. Every detail, the curve of his cheek, the subtle shadow beneath his jaw, the faint lines etched into his forehead, feels intimate, almost as if Lincoln himself is observing you from 200 years in the past. And yet, something is profoundly different. There is no mint mark. Unlike the bustling Denver Mint or the lesser-known San Francisco issues, this Philadelphia piece carries only the silent authority of its origin. A subtle omission? A simple oversight? Perhaps. But to the trained eye of the collector, this absence is a beacon, a siren call to those who understand the hidden mathematics of rarity. It is a coin that challenges convention, almost daring you to grasp its significance before it slips into obscurity. Now, consider the year, 2004. A time when the United States was on the cusp of technological revolution, when paper currency was still king, and coins like this circulated silently through pockets and purses, unnoticed. Millions passed hands, yet only a fraction carry this specific anomaly, a no mint mark strike. It's a coin that traveled the country silently, waiting, hiding in plain sight, for someone like you to notice. The reverse draws your eye next, Lincoln Memorial stretching with symmetry and grace, engraved with care that belies the industrial processes of the 21st century. Notice the faint details, the columns, the shadows, the tiny inscriptions. In most coins, these are overlooked, mundane. In this piece, they are your portal to understanding why collectors pay fortunes for something so deceptively simple. Each line, each curve, is proof of a human touch amidst mass production. But let me ask you, have you ever wondered why certain coins vanish from auctions, their existence whispered only among the most dedicated collectors? Why a coin, seemingly ordinary to the untrained eye, can fetch sums worth millions of dollars? The answer lies not just in scarcity, but in the story embedded within the metal. This 2004 No Mint mark Abraham Lincoln 1 cent is a story of accident, precision, and history converging in a single, copper-plated circle. Now, imagine holding it under a soft light. The sheen catches your eye, not with brashness, but with subtle allure. You see variations invisible to the casual observer, slightly doubled edges, microscopic anomalies in the die, a gentle imperfection near Lincoln's coat that could indicate a fleeting moment in minting history where the press hesitated, paused, and then completed its work. Such details transform this coin from an everyday collector's item into an artifact worthy of awe and envy. Consider the psychology of ownership. When you possess such a coin, you're not merely collecting metal, you are claiming a connection to history, to the artisans of the Philadelphia Mint, to the countless Americans who unknowingly carried this coin decades ago. You become part of a lineage, a narrative that stretches from Lincoln's own era to your fingertips. And in that connection lies an intoxicating power, the knowledge that very few will ever hold this same piece. Few will recognize its subtle brilliance, its extraordinary place in numismatic history, and what about value? Some might hesitate, thinking a coin minted in 2004 is too modern to hold such allure. But therein lies the secret: rarity is not bound by age alone. A single misstep in a minting process, an oversight in the endless machinery of coin production, can create a treasure. This is one such treasure, a coin that collectors obsess over, that can vanish from circulation and surface decades later in private estates or forgotten coin rolls, quietly reshaping fortunes. It's worth millions of dollars, whispered in awe by the most elite circles of numismatists, yet, the story doesn't end there. There is a subtle thrill in the hunt. Think of the countless coins minted in 2004, identical in every printed catalog, but only a handful exist without a mint mark. Could one be sitting in a drawer near you? Could this moment, the moment your eyes land on it, your hand touches its surface, be the moment destiny whispers? This is what drives the collector's heart, not merely ownership, but discovery. The intoxicating fear of missing out. The silent rush of knowing you have uncovered something extraordinary, perhaps once thought lost forever, and while many see only copper and ink details, seasoned collectors understand the higher stakes. This coin represents legacy. A 2004 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln 1 cent is a bridge between eras, between the Lincoln of history books, the minting machines of Philadelphia, and the modern connoisseur who can recognize its unique magic. It is as much an investment in imagination as it is in wealth, a tangible manifestation of both foresight and taste. Now, visualize the journey this coin has taken. From a high-pressure press in Philadelphia, stamped with perfection, slipping into circulation, passing through hands indifferent to its significance, until one day, it surfaces for someone like you. Perhaps in a dusty collection, perhaps in a forgotten drawer, perhaps even in a small coin shop with eyes wide open in disbelief. That moment, the instant of realization, is electric. Heart racing. Mind spinning. History in your hands, but here's the twist: even among experts, the 2004 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln 1 cent holds secrets yet to be fully catalogued. Minor die cracks, subtle variations in color due to storage, microscopic deviations from standard strikes, these are the elements that turn a coin from remarkable to legendary. They are the whispers that separate casual collectors from those who hold the keys to fortunes worth millions of dollars. And you, dear collector, are now standing at the threshold. So, what will it be? Will you let this coin remain a silent witness to history, unnoticed and unclaimed? Or will you seize it, understanding that in this tiny circle of copper lies a story bigger than any vault, a thrill unmatched by any other pursuit? Because make no mistake, owning this coin is not about currency. It is about prestige. It is about legacy. It is about connecting to a narrative that stretches from the Lincoln Memorial to your own hands, linking past, present, and future in a single, breathtaking instant. And finally, imagine this: somewhere, right now, another 2004 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln 1 cent exists, perhaps hidden in plain sight. Could it be worth even more than the first? Could it contain an anomaly so rare, so astonishing, that it could rewrite the very history of modern coin collecting? The answer lies just beyond the horizon, waiting for those with the vision to see it. Will you be the one to find it?